תברכנו היום, תגדלנו, אמן. היום, תאמצנו היום, תברכנו היום, תגדלנו, אמן. היום תדרשנו לטובה, היום תכתבנו לחיים טובים, היום תשמע שבתנו, אמן. תאמצנו היום, תברכנו היום, תגדלנו, אמן. היום תקבל ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו, היום תתמכנו בימין צדקך, אמן. תאמצנו היום, תברכנו היום, תגדלנו, אמן. היום, תאמצנו היום, תברכנו היום, תגדלנו, אמן.
Welcome everybody, Gamar Tov. Good to be with you. And we're going to start just with warming up our spirits a little bit with a little bit of music Olam Chesed Yibaneh. It's on your song sheet, I believe. Is that correct, Pastor Paul?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3. Before we get started, everybody take a nice deep breath. And I'm going to invite, since we didn't have a chance to do it, we generally lose these heavy lights and give it a little more intimate feel. Is that okay, everybody? Good? Randy, please. Number 3. Lam chesed yibaneh, yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai. I will build this world from love. Yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai. And you must build this world from love. Yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai. And if we build this world from love, yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai, then God will build this world from love. Yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai. Olam chesed, olam chesed yibaneh, yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yada dai dai dai, yada dai dai.
So, I'll use this one. It's fine. So, we're going to turn to page 2 first in our Siddur. For those who are wearing a talit, which many do on Kol Nidre, on Erev Yom Kippur, if you haven't yet been able to say the blessing, it's here on page 2. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihit'atef b'tzitzi. Then we turn to page 9. And I'm going to invite everybody who can comfortably do so to rise. And I'd say throughout the service today, when I ask people to rise, please, if it's difficult for you to rise or if we're standing for a long time, feel free to stay seated. They're just the traditional stage directions, but wherever you need to be, that's okay. And that's true tomorrow too. And same in our book. I'll give you page numbers, but if you find something and you're looking there, reading something, and you want to stay there for a little while, that's fine. We read enough. I announce page numbers often enough. You'll catch up. Don't worry about it, right? Yom Kippur is a time that we are experiencing an individual process, but in community. And so we sort of have to have that flexibility to be where we need to be and still be connected to all the people that we're here with. So we are going to continue with the blessings over our Shabbat and Yom Kippur lights and Shehechianu, page 9. So this first section of the service, all through the introductory piece here and through Kol Nidre, is a long time to be standing. Again, if anybody needs to sit along the way, feel free to do so. Sit, stand, whatever you need to do. We're on page 15. Kol Nidre, a chant that begins in a whisper and rises to a cry. On this night of promises remembered, each soul in solitude communes with the soul of the universe. God, from this day of atonement to the next, may we reach it in peace. All Israel makes these vows, to turn from wrong, dishonesty, and greed, to walk in the path of justice and right. Yet we know our weakness, how prone we are to fail. Help us to keep our word. Help us to act with humility and integrity. We seek pardon and forgiveness. We seek your radiance and light. Page 16, or Zarua.
Or Zarua Tzadik, Ul Yisrael Lev Simcha. Ul Yisrael Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Tzadik, Ul Yisrael Lev Simcha. Ul Yisrael Lev Simcha. Tzadik, Ul Yisrael Lev Simcha. Ul Yisrael Lev Simcha. O Zarua Tzadik, Ul Yisrael Lev Simcha. Ul Yisrael Lev Simcha.
Yisrael Simcha. Or Zaru Allah Tzadi, Kol Yisrael Simcha. Or Zaru Allah Tzadi, Or Zaru Allah Tzadi, Or Zaru Allah Tzadi, Or Zaru Allah Tzadi, Or Zaru Allah Tzadi. O Yisrael Simcha, Or Zaru Allah Tzadi, O Yisrael Simcha, Or Zaru Allah Tzadi, O Yisrael Simcha, Or Zaru Allah Tzadi, Or Zaru Allah Tzadi, Or Zaru Allah Tzadi. Zaru Allah Tzadi.
Page 16.
B'shiva shel mahala u'b'shiva shel mata al da'at hamakom ve'al da'at hakahal Anu madhirin lepalel im ha'avaryanim B'shiva shel mala u'b'shiva shel mata al da'at hamakom ve'al da'at hakal Anu madhirin lepalel Im havaryanim B'shiva shel mala U'b'shiva shel mata Al da'at hamakom Ve'al da'at hakal Anu madhirin le'itpalel Im ha'avaryanim.
So as we put some of these Torahs away, I'm going to invite anybody, if there's anybody that's in the entry and needs to come in, we'll have a moment break so you can come in and find seats. We now turn to page 16. And we turn to page 19, and I'd like to invite Laura Zuckerman to lead us.
Give us the strength to keep our promises, the sacred vows of partners in marriage, the promises of love and care between parents and children, the promises of duty between citizens and country, the oaths of doctors, the sacred trust of teachers. Give us the strength to keep our promises to our friends and colleagues, to those who live with us and depend on us, to those who work for us and those for whom we work, to those who pray with us and those for whom we pray, to those we love and those we serve. Give us the courage to keep our promises to ourselves, to one another, and to future generations.
Top of page 18, Kol Nidre. people are in the entry as we enter into the last Kol Nidre. You can come in, find seats. Page 20. All shall be forgiven, the entire community of Israel and the stranger who lives in their midst, for all have gone astray in error. Moses prayed to God, as you have been faithful to this people ever since Egypt, please forgive their failings now, in keeping with your boundless love. Top of the page in the Hebrew.
ונשלח לכל עדה בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם מי שגר Selachna la'avon ha'am hazeh ki godel chasdecha v'cha Hashem nasata ha'am hazeh Mitzrayim ve'ad hena ve'ad hena.
And God responded, I forgive as you have asked. We remain standing even as I close the ark, as we continue with Baruch Hu, our call to prayer, page 22. Continue on page 24, 5 lines from the bottom, Umavir Yom.
Umavir Yom, Umavir Laila, Umavdil ben Yom uvein Laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam, Tamidim L'chaleinu Le'lam Va'en, Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch Shema. Omarim Aravim.
page 26, as we give thanks for the gift of Torah, of learning and wisdom, and the community that supports that, I just give special attention to all of our past presidents who join us on the Bima this evening, and all who have served. They represent really the history of those on the Bima and the history of those who are no longer here on this Bima, but help to sustain and to create and sustain this congregation, and to be bearers of Torah for all of us. We pick up on the bottom of page 26 in the Hebrew as we give thanks for God's gift of Torah, Ki Hem Chayenu.
Kihem chayenu ve'orech yameinu v'hem nege yomam v'layla ve'avatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch, Baruch Shema. Oy amo Yisrael. Amen.
Page 28 and 29, Shema Yisrael. And it's traditional on Yom Kippur. That second line, Baruch Shem, is often said in a whisper during the rest of the year, but it's said with gusto on Yom Kippur, the second line of Shema. Sigh of relief. We're going to continue now on page 31, and I'm going to invite Jack Schuster to lead us.
Listen, all you who wrestle with your fate, the intimate and the infinite are one. Trust that unity with all your heart, doubt, and all, with all your soul, and with all the powers at your command. Remember it, repeat it everywhere, working or resting, sitting or walking, night and morning, alone and to all you love. See it written on your hand, on your brow, in every commonplace, and in every face.
So we continue. Just a moment, if our page 39 reader, Nancy Ambrose, can come on up.
Emet ve'emunah, truth and faithfulness in the night. Our sages taught it is proper to mention the exodus from Egypt in our morning prayers and also at night. We celebrate the going out from Egypt in the morning light, full of confidence and vigor as we enter the new day. But in the evening, weary from the day's exertions, cast down and fearful at the coming of the night, what can the Exodus teach us then? Our nighttime prayer brings hope and trust in the future. As God did not abandon our people long ago through the long, dark night of exile, so the Holy One will be with us in time to come. To stand by the one you love, that is the true essence of faithfulness, the meaning of emunah. So it is written in the Psalms, to proclaim your kindness in the morning and your faithfulness in the night. Sing with joy in the morning of your life, when light surrounds you and the world seems beautiful and good. And in the evening of your life, when you dwell in sorrow and the world seems dark, do not despair.
We continue with Mi Chamocha, page 40.
Baruch atah Adonai. Kol Yisrael.
We continue on page 42. So we ask the Holy One to shelter us with a sukkah of peace, Hashkivenu.
We invite you to join us, as I think it might be familiar to some.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. צאתנו בואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו
הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Amen.
Page 44. Today is Yom Kippur and it is Shabbat. We get a double header. And Yom Kippur is sometimes called Shabbat HaShabbatot. It's the Sabbath of Sabbaths. And today, as we pause on this Sabbath, we join in singing Vishamru, page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam b'tovah. Same thing again, let's try it. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Vayom HaShvi'i Shabbat vayinafas Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam b'tovah. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat.
Top of page 45. For on this day atonement shall be made for you to purify you from all your wrongs, and pure you shall be in the presence of Adonai.
Top of page 45.
Ki vayom hazeh yichaper aleichem l'taher etchem mikol chatoteichem lifnei Adonai tidbaru.
We continue in the middle of page 45 with Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Ve'almon yivrach chirutei Ve'yamlich malchutei Ve'chayachon ve'yomechon ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, מגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו, יתברך וישתבח, ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה. לילה ולילה, מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתו ונחמתה, לאמירן בעלמא. ואמרו, Amen.
We turn to page 46. Those who can comfortably do so, I invite you to rise as we enter into our Amidah. We're going to just sing the opening line there of opening our lips to declare blessing and praise. And then we're going to continue through our Amidah on the following pages silently, and we will pick up again on page 58 as a congregation. Please continue silently. We'll come back together as a congregation on page 58.
ותמלוך אתה, אדוני לבדך, אל כל מעשיך, בהר ציון משכן כבודך, ובירושלים עיר קודשך, ככתוב בדברי קודשך, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. קדוש אתה, ונורא שמך, ואין אלוה מבלעדיך, ככתוב, ויקבע אדוני צבאות במשפט, והאל הקדוש נקדש לצדקה. איי, 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 Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh.
We continue on page 63, and I invite Mike Blitz to lead us.
Like smoke above the altar, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. As Israel once came to you with offerings from the flock, so we bring to you the offerings of our mouth, not lip service, but heartfelt prayer. So the prophet taught, return, O Israel, to Adonai your God, for you have fallen because of your sin. Take words with you and return to Adonai. Accept the words we set before you, awkward and imperfect as they are, our hesitant questions, our corrosive doubts. Accept too our silences, our thoughts that rise in stillness, our faith that coheres for a fragile instant, then dissipates like smoke above the altar.
Top of page 64. We Eternal our God, remember us.
Zofreinu Adonai Eloheinu, Volet Tovah.
Be mindful of us.
Ufakenu, Volivracha.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing.
Leoshienu,
We continue on page 71. I'm going to invite Barbara Friedman to lead us.
On this night of atonement, grant us, God, a sense of your presence as we call upon your name. Speak your hopeful message to each yearning heart, and answer the worthy petitions of each searching soul. Purify and strengthen our noble strivings, and cleanse us of all our unworthy desires. Join us together in fellowship and in love, and grant us the joy which comes from enriching other lives. Help us to be loyal to the heritage we share. Draw us near to Torah in wisdom and in faith. Strengthen our devotion to our people everywhere. Keep alive our faith in righteousness and truth. Bless us with hopes to uplift our daily lives, and keep steadfast our courage and our resolve at all times. On this night of atonement, help us, God, to be worthy of your presence as we call upon your name.
Bottom of page 70.
Baruch atah Adonai, melech mochel v'solech al avonotenu, v'lavanot amoved Yisrael, u'mavir yom hashmotenu b'chol shana v'shana. Melech hakol haaretz, v'kadosh hashavat Yisrael. Melech hakol haaretz,
Mekadesh HaShabbat v'Yisrael. Melech al haaretz, Mekadesh HaShabbat v'Yisrael. Melech al kol haaretz, Mekadesh HaShabbat v'Yisrael.
Melech hakol haaretz, Mekadesh HaShabbat v'Yisrael, B'yom HaKippurim.
Amen. We continue on page 79, and I invite Neil Gerard to lead us.
Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country, that it may always be a stronghold of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship among the inhabitants of all lands, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Inscribe us in the book of life, blessing, and peace. We praise you, O God, the source of peace.
We continue 4 lines down from the top of the Hebrew on page 78.
Tovah nachal levarech et amcha Yisrael, b'kolei u'b'chol sha'a b'shalomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Oseh hashalom.
One of the hallmarks of our services on Yom Kippur, and we have a lot of them throughout Yom Kippur, is that in each of the services we have a vidui. Vidui is the word for confession. And we have 2 types of viduis in our service. We have the one that we know best as Ashamnu, and we're going to turn to that in just a moment. And then we have the Al Chet Shechatanu, for the sins we have committed against you. And In our different services, we do different versions just for variety. So our Al Chet tonight is an alternative Al Chet. We're not actually using those words, but tomorrow we'll have them a number of times throughout our service. These viduis, Ashamnu in the form that we have it now, and Al Chet in its more traditional form, also follow our acrostic poetry, meaning if we look at Ashamnu, the first one begins with an aleph, the second one begins with a bet, the third one begins with a gimel, all the way through the Hebrew alphabet, right? So on one hand, it's a list of sins, but it's also a list of sins that's meant to symbolize all the sins from aleph to tav, or from A to Z, right? It's all-encompassing as we sing these words together. So I'm going to ask everybody who can comfortably do so to please rise. We're going to start by reading together the English paragraph in the middle of page 82, and then we'll pick up at the top of the page. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong. As we have our litany of transgressions, there are different traditions. One of the traditions is that you give yourself a little clop here, and there are different reasons. I gave a whole sermon about it a couple of years ago, but some might say it's a little self-flagellation. I like to think a little bit that we're knocking on our heart and telling it that it needs to open up, right, in this new year. It needs to pay attention. It needs to care about the pain in the world. It needs to be awake. And so a little clop, if you wish, as we go through our Ashamnu. Here we go.
Ay, 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 Gazalnu, Dibarnu dofi, ay, 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 Avinu, Vehirshanu, Chamasnu, Tafanu sheker, Yahatznura, Kizavnu, Latznu, Maradnu, Niatznu, Sararnu, Ahavinu, Hashanu, Sararnu, Kishinu Oref, ay, 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 Rashanu, Shichatnu, Tiavnu, Ta'inu, Titanu, ay, 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 ay,
You may be seated. I invite Janine Mann to lead us on page 83.
When I was young and learned the alphabet, life was open to me. A was full of aspiration, B was for beauty, C for confidence, and D for dreams. And so on through the list, no fewer than 26 opportunities, 26 possibilities. And yet, I fear that with the passage of time, I've squandered them, creating instead A's of apathy, B's of brusqueness, and C's of coarseness. Help me then to return to that innocence. Let the letters be letters once again, and let them rise to the heavens and form into the words that you know I wish to say.
As we turn to page 89 in our book, as I said, we have an alternative Al-Chet today. We'll have a few sets of the more traditional Al-Chet Shechatanu tomorrow. Today we're going to kind of talk about in reading these various categories of our lives, and then we will still have the refrain from our Al-Chet that will bring in at the bottom of page 89, and then once more at the bottom of page 91, Ve'al Kulam, and when we get there as well. So I'd like to invite Jay Eisenberg to begin 89, followed by Steve Sopkin.
Failures of integrity. We wrong you when we wrong ourselves. For our failures of integrity, Adonai, we seek forgiveness. For passing judgment without knowledge of the facts, and for distorting facts to suit our purposes. For succumbing in silence to social pressure, and for acquirance in beliefs we find offensive. For using others' bad behavior to excuse our own, and for blaming others for our mistakes and poor decisions. for pretending to emotions we do not feel, and for appearing to be others that we are not, that we are. For condemning in our children the faults we tolerate in ourselves, and for tolerating in ourselves the faults we condemn in our parents.
Bottom half of page 89.
Thank you. Failures of justice. We dishonor you when we dishonor our society. For our failures of justice, Adonai, we seek forgiveness. For being indifferent to deprivation and hunger while accepting a culture of self-indulgence and greed. For abuse of power in boardrooms, courtrooms, and classrooms, and for accepting the neglect of children and elders, the ill and the weak. For permitting social inequalities to prevail, and for lacking the vision to transcend our selfishness. For glorifying violence and turning hastily to war, and for allowing history to repeat itself. For behaviors that risk the future of our planet, and for wreaking havoc on our only true inheritance, God's creation.
Bottom of page 90. For all these failures, God of judgment and failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. Page 91, top of the page, I invite Robert Strober to lead us, followed by Linda Feynman.
Failures of love. We sin against you when we hurt one another. For our failures of love, Adonai, we seek forgiveness. For exploiting another at our own pleasure. And for the wounds we cause through betrayal and deception. For withholding affection from those we claim to love. And for using love to control our spouses and partners, our children and parents. For abandoning friends and siblings whose love has sustained us. And for neglecting those who love us when they need us most. For harboring in our relationships mistrust, boredom, and disloyalty. And for rejecting our partner's efforts at repair and renewal. For possessiveness, jealousy, and avarice. And for lashing out in anger at those who are closest to us.
Who among us is blameless? Who shall say, I have not erred, I have not wronged or sinned? We abuse, we brutalize, we covet, we deceive, we enslave, we feud, we gossip, we humiliate, we injure, we judge unfairly, we kill, we lie, we manipulate, we neglect, we ostracize, we plagiarize, we quarrel, we rage, we shame, we turn away, we undermine, we vilify, we waste, we exploit the earth, We yearn too much for yesterday and too easily forget Zion. Our sins are an alphabet of woe. Help us, Holy One, to follow your ways of integrity, justice, and love. Teach us to seek forgiveness with humility and an open heart.
Bottom of page 90.
We turn to page 99, and I invite Deborah Klein to lead us.
Will you hear my voice, you who are far from me? Will you hear my voice wherever you are? A voice calling aloud, a voice silently weeping, endlessly demanding a blessing. This busy world is vast, its ways are many. Paths meet for a moment, then part forever. We go on searching, but our feet stumble. We cannot find that which we have lost. Perhaps my last day is already drawing near. Drawing close are the tears of parting. I will wait for you till my days flicker out, like Rachel waiting for her beloved.
Page 98, Shema Kolenu.
השיבנו אדוני אליך, השיבנו אליך ונשובה, קודש ימינו, ימינו. כקדם Oh
We turn to page 105. Middle of the page. Eternal God, you revealed to Moses your 13 attributes of mercy. They exist in the world through our awareness. They transform the world through our actions. We speak them now as prayer and aspiration.
ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, עושה עוון ופשע וחטאה ונקה.
Page 106 in the poem, the piyut, the liturgical poem, Ki Anu Amecha, all these different relationships, these different ways that the Jewish people think of themselves in relationship to God. Ki Anu Amecha, we are your people, Ve'ata Eloheinu, and you are our God. Earlier today, I got a phone call from a congregant named Sam. Sam said, "Rabbi, I know tonight is Yom Kippur, is Kol Nidre, but it's also the 5th game of the Dodgers-Padres series that I don't want to miss." I said, "Sam, you have a DVR? Can you record that? That's what they're for." Sam said, "You mean I should record Kol Nidre?" It's wonderful to be here with you tonight, even if you had to miss the game. As your rabbi, I have spent a lot of time at the cemetery. Have you ever walked around the cemetery and read what's on the markers? They usually say devoted husband or loving wife, cherished daughter. She brought joy into the lives of others. The world was better because she was here. I've never seen carved on a gravestone, he made the Forbes list of wealthiest people, or he built the biggest house in the neighborhood. I've never seen a gravestone that said she was a partner in a prestigious law firm. She had the finest jewelry. We don't usually see those types of things on a gravestone, the kinds of things that show up on a resume: jobs held, academic degrees, commendations awarded. A story I've shared with you before, because it, to me, is a perfect Yom Kippur story. Alfred Nobel was the inventor of dynamite. He generally thought that he had done humanity a great good. He thought his invention would bring peace because no one would be so evil as to use this awesome power against other human beings. In 1876, Nobel's brother, Ludwig, died. But the newspaper made a mistake and published Alfred's obituary instead. The headline read, "Alfred Nobel, the merchant of death, is dead." Nobel was devastated. He directed upon his death that his entire fortune would be invested in awards for those who advanced the causes of humanity. The Nobel Prizes. The Nobel Peace Prize is the most famous. Nobel had the opportunity most of us never have to read his obituary in the paper and be able to change it. Most of us do not want to be remembered only for professional achievements or even primarily for them. Resume virtues are the things that get me noticed in the marketplace: my success, my influence, my wealth, my power. I will write my own resume. However, others will write my eulogy. What will they say? What kind of parent am I? What values guide my life? What did I do to bring tikkun, healing, to the world? Eulogy virtues are what the people who matter most will say about me long after I have died. Hundreds of times I've sat with families, with so many of you, to share the loss of a loved one. And I ask you to tell me about the life of your mother or your father, your grandparent, your spouse or brother or sister, and sometimes tragically your child. And I listen. I listen for the story of the life. Every life has a story. How did they grow up? Where did they meet and fall in love? How did they cope with tragedy? When were they the happiest? What were they most proud of? What did they teach you? What did you learn? Every person has a story. And in the best of cases, it was a life built deliberately around a sacred core of values of character and of ethics. Children and grandchildren recall the moments of family love and togetherness, the seders, the Hanukkah dinners, the birthdays, the bar and bat mitzvahs, weddings. But sometimes they don't see the pattern, the ethic that shaped this life, the love of family, the support of community, the commitment to tradition, the value of relationships. And sometimes, tragically, there is no unity, no core of sacred values at the center of a life. Sometimes the story reveals a life diffuse with energies scattered. There's a well-known saying that is particularly meaningful on these holy days. You live on purpose or you live by accident. Too much of the time, we live by accident. Do we examine our values? Do we know what we really believe? Do we carefully consider our choices? When we buy a car, we pay careful attention. We take pains to evaluate the alternatives and to make an informed and deliberate choice. But constructing a life, we often do impulsively, by whim or by rote, by conformity, by accident. Maimonides speaks powerfully against living life by accident. He demands we listen closely to the sound of the shofar, declaring, "Wake yourselves from your sleep, arouse yourself from your slumber." The shofar stirs us and demands that we ask ourselves, are we living the life we should? Are we living life with meaning and with purpose? We are so busy, so much to get done, busy with text messages and notifications, with emails, busy with appointments and responsibilities, so many places to go that sometimes we forget where we're going. Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes was once asked for his ticket on a train, and he couldn't find it. The conductor, recognizing him, said reassuringly, "Never mind, sir, I'm sure you have it somewhere." "Mr. Conductor," replied Holmes, "the question is not where is my ticket, but where am I going?" That indeed is the question each of us must ask ourselves. Where are we going? And who do we want to be? The mystics of the Zohar famously asked, what was the sin of Adam in the Garden of Eden? How could God forbid a human being from seeking knowledge? Well, they taught that there were two trees in the center of the garden, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge, and that the two trees were entwined, growing out of one trunk. Adam came and he separated them, dividing knowledge from life and life from knowledge. That was the sin, to live without knowledge, without awareness, without reflection. This is one of the reasons for these high holy days, to atone for the sin we have committed by living randomly, by accident, by rote. To atone for the sins we have committed by failing to listen to the voice within calling us to a higher purpose. To atone for the sin we have committed by forgetting who we are and who we are meant to become. Yom Kippur is an unusual day. Most of our holidays are celebrated at home. Hanukkah candles, the Pesach Seder, Shabbat table, all at home. But nothing of Yom Kippur happens at home. You're stuck here with me all day. No distractions, no diversions, no entertainment. You're here with the opportunity to reflect on the important questions of life. Our other holidays celebrate and commemorate moments from our collective past. Pesach, the Exodus from Egypt. Shavuot, receiving Torah at Sinai. Sukkot, wandering in the desert. But there's no history to this holiday. No history to hide behind. No heroes to divert our attention. Nothing we commemorate. And nothing collective. It's not about them, ancestors, predecessors, archetypes. It's about us. The only past that matters today is my past and yours. The only history is your story and mine. Most radical of all, everything about Judaism is about life, loving life, protecting life, celebrating life. We say l'chaim, to life, over every glass of wine. Except today, this one day a year, when Jews look squarely into the reality of death. Today we acknowledge the most difficult truth of being human, that we die. We are finite, mortal creatures, living fragile, vulnerable lives. Our tomorrows are numbered. No one has an infinite supply. And that knowledge forces us to set priorities and makes our choices important. Pretend for a moment you don't have long to live. To whom would you run to say, thank you, or I'm sorry, or I love you? What relationships would you attempt to resolve, to repair? What would you be proud of in your life? What would you regret? What would you most miss? Yom Kippur calls us to stop waiting and to act now. I've been a rabbi long enough to know that the saddest, most bitter tears at the graveside are those for the life not lived, for the love not shared, for the tenderness not expressed, for the words unspoken. Today is Yom Kippur. We seek tshuva, repentance, returning to our best selves. Today we are spending the day with death. So I begin to wonder, does anything of me last? What will I leave behind? What tells the story of my life? What truth does my life teach? How do I want to be remembered? It's difficult to stand in this place between life and death. It's unsettling. It's tempting to run away, to escape to our busyness again, to social media and obligations and distractions. But if we stay here, stay focused and pursue these questions, we just might discover wisdom. A wisdom to live on purpose, deliberately and carefully. Limnot yameinu kein hoda v'navi levav chochma. Teach us to number our days, wrote the psalmist, to get us a heart of wisdom. On this Yom Kippur, we face the truth of our lives. We seek insight and courage to begin this new year. We seek strength and vision and hope and a renewed sense of gratitude for the blessings that surround us every day. I conclude with a story. Once there was a poor Jew named Yekel. And Yekel was a dreamer. Each night he'd sit at his battered wooden table in his tiny hovel over a glass of weak tea and dream of the treasure he knew was waiting for him somewhere. He envisioned all the comforts and the power and the respect that this treasure would bring him. Each night Yekel would go to sleep, and each morning he'd awaken just as poor as he'd been the day before. Until one night he had a dream, and it was the most vivid, the most powerful dream he had ever had. In his dream, he saw a bridge in the great city of Krakow, and under the bridge on the banks of the great river was the treasure he'd waited his whole life to find. The dream was so real, and the treasure so close, that Yekel woke in the middle of the night, jumped from his bed, grabbed his tools, and headed to the great city of Krakow. As dawn broke, he found the bridge and the river and the spot where the treasure was buried, just as the dream had showed him. So he began to dig. And after some time, a policeman came by and asked him what he was doing, digging such a pit beneath the bridge in the city of Krakow. Yekel realized there was no hiding his intention, so he pulled himself out of the pit, brushed himself off, and faced the officers. I had a dream last night. At this spot, beneath this bridge, beside this river, lies a treasure meant just for me, he responded. You believe in dreams? Laughed the policeman. If I believed in every dream, I'd be quite the fool. Just last night, I dreamed a Jew named Yekel, who lives in a village not far from me. And what that poor fool doesn't know is that a great treasure lies buried beneath the floor of his own kitchen. Hearing his name and the mention of his treasure, Yekel quickly gathered his tools, ran home, and sure enough, dug up the treasure from beneath his kitchen floor. All those years he sat dreaming, the treasure was there, beneath his feet. It's not out there. What we seek from life is not the next treasure to be found, or the next accomplishment to be achieved, or the next success to be won. It's not in recognition or in rewards or in accolades. It's right here. It's right here. If only we are wise enough to look for it. Gamar chatimah tovah. May you be sealed for goodness and blessing in this new year.
Tomorrow afternoon's Yom Kippur afternoon service will feature a Torah reading from chapter 19 of the book of Leviticus, which begins Kiddushim Tihiyu, or after the introductory words, you shall be holy, for I, your God, am holy. And this is a musical setting of those words by Charles Davidson.
Couldn't find my book. All right. We're going to turn to page 113. And I ask those who can comfortably do so to please rise. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice. Some of us have cancer. Some of us have lost strength of body. Some have lost memory and speech. Some of us are in pain. Some can't find work. Some of us bear the marks of human cruelty inside, where the scars don't show. Some live with depression, some battle addiction, many feel alone. Some have known shattered marriages, trusts betrayed, hopes destroyed. Some of us have lost the ones we love far too soon, and some have lost a child. All of us have seen suffering in our midst. All of us know the ravages of war, for which there are no words. Avinu Malkeinu, why? Avinu Malkeinu, are you there? Do you care? Avinu Malkeinu, hear our pain, hear our anger, hear our grief. Avinu Malkeinu, here is our prayer. Give us the strength to go on. Give us reasons to get up each day. Give us purpose and persistence. Help us to fend off fear and to hold on to hope. Help us to be kind. Don't make us bow or grovel for your favor. Give us dignity and give us courage. Avinu Malkeinu, show us the way to a year of goodness. Renew our belief that the world can be better. Restore our faith in life. Restore our faith in you. Page 114. You can join me in the Hebrew or join in the English text. Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Ve'al Olaleinu V'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu Kale Dever V'cherev Ve'ra'av Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
Avinu Malkeinu Kale Kol Tsar Umastin Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror.
Avinu Malkeinu Kotvenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tovah.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu Malei Yadenu Mivirchotecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings.
Avinu Malkeinu Haren Kerem Mishichecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption.
Avinu Malkeinu Na Al Tashivenu Rekam Milfanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn us away from you with nothing.
Avinu Malkeinu Kabel Berachamim Uvratzon Et Tefilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it.
Avinu Malkeinu Aseh Imanu Lema'an Shemecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name.
Avinu Malkeinu Aseh Lema'ancha Imlo Lema'anenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, if not for ours.
Avinu Malkeinu Ein Lanu Melech Ela Ata.
Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our sovereign.
Avinu Malkeinu Petach Sha'arei Shamayim Litfilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer.
Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu Chus V'rachem Aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice. Treat us with tender compassion.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Avinu Malkeinu, Koneinu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Koneinu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu basi. Asei manu, Asei manu, Asei manu, tzedaka v'chesed be'oshienu. Asei manu, tzedaka
Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tovah, and a good Yontif. I am honored to stand here alongside this group of dedicated and talented individuals. Being president at Temple Beth Israel is technically a 2-year position, for some 3, on occasion 4, but I digress. In reality, being president is a lifetime of work. Each of the men and women you see here on the bima tonight has devoted years of service well beyond their tenure as president. And I could start listing the many committees and events and projects that each one has participated in, but that list would be very long. And I would invariably forget something or someone, and then I would have committed a sin, and then that would give me something else to atone for, and let's just say that my plate is already full. But I will say to the past presidents, thank you for everything you have done and continue to do for us here at Temple Beth Israel. At these high holy days, however, I do want to single out one particular member of the group of past presidents, and that is Jay Eisenberg. Jay is one of the longest-serving board members at TBI. He has held the positions of president, several vice presidents, committee chair, program organizer, and much more. But it's really during this time of year, the high holy days, that Jay truly shines. Jay's hand touches just about everything that happens during these services, from issuing tickets, to assigning reserved parking and seating, to coordinating the readers and ushers, to organizing the Rosh Hashanah reception and the Yom Kippur breakfast, and much more. Now, the content of our services, the liturgy, the music, the sermon, for all that, we can thank our amazing clergy, Rabbi Kupitz and Cantor Bush. For just about everything else, there's Jay. So Jay, on behalf of all of us, I say thank you, and I say, Aleve bis 120, may you live to be 120, because we need you for that long. On Rosh Hashanah, and again tomorrow morning on Yom Kippur, we recite the prayer Unatan Tokef. In it we read, on Rosh Hashanah it is written, on Yom Kippur it is sealed. On this Erev Rosh Hashanah we heard the words of Dina Benjamin, who introduced us to two of the hundreds of people who have faced food insecurity and whose lives have been directly benefited from our food drive. And then on Rosh Hashanah morning, we heard Dr. Tammy Schneider, who spoke so movingly about the importance of giving, and not just as a way to assist Temple Beth Israel, but to make a difference in your lives as well. So thank you again to Dina and to Tammy for your presence and for reminding us of the importance of giving. These two have now both written, and now it is our turn to seal their words with our actions. If you have not already done so, please bring your food bags to Temple and leave them in room 12. And if you've already done so, thank you very much, but perhaps you'll want to take an extra bag or 2 or 3 with you this evening. Remember, the gates of our food drive close on Simchat Torah. And just as we sustain our broader community through the food drive, we sustain our TBI community through our High Holy Day appeal. The funds raised through this appeal make it possible for us to gather as a community, as we have been doing, as the rabbi reminded us on Rosh Hashanah, for almost 100 years. Pledge cards are available from myself and also from Jay, and you can always send your contribution either online by going to our website, tbipomona.org, or sending a check to the temple office. And now for a few announcements and words of thanks. On Yom Kippur morning, our Yom Kippur morning service begins tomorrow here in the sanctuary at 10 a.m. and online. Following the service, please join me in the Beit Midrash for our Yom Kippur discussion. This year we will be discussing a topic that is, I'm sure, on all of our minds, that is relating to the events of October 7th. How did we get here? what has happened since, and what does it mean for Israel, Jews around the world, and for us. Our family service begins at 2 p.m. The afternoon service begins at 4, followed by Yisker and Nila. At the conclusion of our services tomorrow, please join us on the lawn for light refreshments as we break the fast. Now a few words of thanks. Thanks first and foremost go to Rabbi Kupitz and Cantor Bush. The service that you have led here this evening has truly been inspirational. Thank you for all that you do to make these services and our services throughout the year a welcoming and meaningful experience. Thank you to Dr. Randy Polivoy for your musical presence that adds such richness to our service. Thank you to Dr. Ruth Charloff and the choir for lifting our spirits in song. Thank you to Julie Jung for her deeply moving cello solo. Thank you to our past presidents, again, who participated in tonight's service. I really this time look forward to rejoining you next year. Thank you to Sean Peterson, Ed Beardsley, and Eli Kupitz for your technical expertise in making our service available to hundreds of people participating online. Hold on, let me get myself put together here. Oh, God. All right, there you go. Thank you to our temple administrator, Barry Weisband, and the staff for handling the numerous tasks necessary that make it possible for all of us to be here today. Thank you to our ushers for providing a welcoming and secure space in which to gather. And finally, and as always, thanks to all of you for your continued support and commitment to Temple Beth Israel. Tzom Kal v'gamar chatimah tovah. May you have an easy and meaningful fast, and may you be sealed for a good year ahead. Shabbat shalom and shana tova.
We are on page 216, I believe. Yeah, sorry. I added 100. 116. May you live to be 216. All right. So 216, Aleinu. What is it, Cantor?
Aleinu l'shabeach.
116. Great. If you're comfortable doing so, please rise.
And if you thought that was exciting, wait till you see him at Nila.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, v'teikenu la'lioseh reishit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, ve'lo samanu kemishpechot adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahen, ve'gor aleinu ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 118.
ונאמר והיה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Turn to page 122. Before we enter into Kaddish, I talked at Rosh Hashanah how these holidays are really a time of memory in so many ways. Memory is built into to these holidays. As I said, one of the names for Rosh Hashanah is Yom HaZikaron. Tomorrow we have Yizkor, a time set aside specifically for memory. But it falls throughout our service as well, and by the people who gather with us in the sanctuary, those who used to and are no longer here, or when we go to our break fast, or the memories that we have perhaps of some of us of our childhoods, the people that we were with. It's a time full of memory. And it's a time of reflecting on the last year. Many of us have suffered losses this year of loved ones who have died. We hold them in our hearts and in our community. On this Shabbat, because it is also Shabbat, we remember the recent deaths of Piat Stajik, who was one of the people responsible for the rebirth of liberal Judaism in Poland, part of our congregation at Beit Polska, that was Beit Warszawa and Beit Polska, that have been twinned with TBI, and we've helped support through the years. Eros Maria Bochat Granja, mother of William Granja. The Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Samuel Greenstein, Israel Grobin, Berthold Gutmann, Morris Coulter, Jack Kramer, Ann Krieger, Eleanor Van Grove, Margaret Babcock, Sonia DeVere, Jerry Gilman, James Mack, Dorothy Goldenstein, Kay Grossman, Abe Mandel, Abraham Smilekstein, Margaret Tompkins, Marta Zamora, James Gustafero, Deborah Schwartz Lamont, Joseph Steinberger, Grace Feynman, Morris Goldhammer, Matilda Coulter, Oscar Lawson, Max Shear, Barbara Schoenfeld, Rose B. Weiss. If you're remembering somebody on this Yom Kippur, on this Shabbat, or suffered a recent death, or observing a Yortzeit on the Shabbat, I invite you to rise first. And I invite the rest of the congregation to rise and embrace the support of those who mourn as we turn to our words of memory. Mourner's Kaddish, page 122. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayei decho beit Yisrael, Bagala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yahei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lomei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitalev, Yitalal, Shmei Nikurusha, Brichu, Le'ela Ul-Ela, Mikol Birchata, V'Shirata, Tush B'chata, V'Nechemata, Da'amiram Bi'alma, V'Imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'Chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'Imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Mimromav, Huya Aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'Imru, Amen. Page 127.
So we're going to conclude our service this evening with a sort of a mashup of Hashivenu and Return Again. You'll find the words right there at the top of 127. Please join us.
Amen.
Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return to what you are. Return to who you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul.
Tomorrow morning, back here, 10 a.m. And I hope you'll end the day with us tomorrow if you can as well, with our Yizkor Nila service, which will end with a break fast at 6:30. Gamar chatimah tovah. Those online, thank you for being with us.